Hello everyone. Now I hope that the most common response to this video is going to be one of recognition. One of like, oh yeah, that happens to me too, or something like that happens to me too. Rather than, let's back away slowly. Okay, this video is inspired by the one that April, Lebra69, posted about her insomnia. And I certainly recognized what she was describing in that video, although I definitely do not suffer from it to the extent that she seems to be suffering from it, but I have occasionally had the same sort of experience, where you're trying to sleep, but your mind is racing. And not so much that it's racing, it seems to be like a stuck record, going around and around the same track, over and over and over again, and you cannot snap out of it. Now, sometimes this is caused by problems in your life or whatever that you're trying to resolve and that you're thinking about, or for example you might be focused on something at work that you're looking at resolving a problem or doing a particular piece of work, and you're working around establishing how you're going to do it and you haven't quite figured it out yet, or something like that. But what happens is that your mind is going around and around and around the same few ideas, and you just keep repeating yourself. And the thing that I wanted to talk to you about at this point in time is what I call the soundtrack. Now, does this ring a bell with anybody? When this happens, when you're in this rut of thinking, this loop, where you're just going over the same ground over and over again. Does this happen to anybody else, where that is not just happening with regards to whatever you're trying to resolve or thinking or whatever you're thinking about, but there's a bloody soundtrack going around in the background and it is also stuck in a loop? Sound familiar? I hope so. So this is what happens to me in situations like that. And it is typically, it is one of those naff pop songs that happens to be in the chart at the time, that I hate, that I despise, but it's going around in my head in a tiny little loop, in sync with my thoughts on the problems that I'm trying to resolve in my head. And it is infuriating, because as if you didn't hate the song enough to have to listen to the same phrases of it or the same part of it over and over and over again in your head is enough to drive anybody demented. But this also suggested to me a way to break the loop, to break out of the loop. Now this works very occasionally if you just happen to be snapped into a little loop of a loop of thought like that. But it's not too serious, not really weighing on your mind or anything like that. It's just, a mind habit. You've gotten into a loop of thinking, and there is this tune going around in sync with it. Or something similar to that. I don't know whether you have an experience that is similar to that, but different again. Maybe like a set of images that keep repeating or whatever. Yeah? In any case, in my case then, with the soundtrack as I call it, what I do is force myself to start singing in my head or thinking of going through another song, one that I like or whatever. And that sometimes helps, very occasionally. Like I said, in cases where I'm not too stuck in my loop. And sometimes I find that I can really get myself thinking that other song, distract myself away from both the thing that the soundtrack that's annoying me in my head and the problem I was trying to resolve, and nod off to sleep. But if it's more serious than that, then you'll find that doesn't work. What you'll find then is that you might think that you're getting there, and you might force yourself to sing another song or something, and then you get just distracted for a moment, and then suddenly you realize the same fucking song is going around in your head again, and the same little loop of thought is going around in your head again. And then of course that's not going to work. And what I found there which I've already posted as a comment on April's video, but I thought it might be better as a video because more people tend to see that. What I find is very helpful there is to just get up out of bed and pick up a piece of paper and a pen and just go over the things that you've been thinking about over the last hour or two that you've been trying to go to sleep. And just write down those thoughts, those ideas that you've been having. No matter how half-baked you think they are, just write them down. Make a nice, neat little list of all the things you've been thinking about, all the half-solutions, all the ideas, all the suggestions, whatever. By the time you finish that, your mind will have started relaxing a little bit. Simply because of the fact that it no longer has to keep all these ideas, all these thoughts at the forefront for fear of forgetting them, but it is now secure in the knowledge that it's there on a piece of paper for you to get back to the next day. That alone is a relaxing thing for you to happen. And I find that tends to snap me out of it. And also as an exercise, with regard to, again, that soundtrack that I was talking about, because you're doing that exercise, that forces you to snap out of that as well. So, because you're too busy writing things down to be thinking about a song. And again, you know, it is another thing that might help you just get out of that loop, just relax that little bit that is necessary to nod off. So there you go, that's my suggestion for that particular type of insomnia. And I hope it's useful to you. Alright?